Your home should be your sanctuary. It's your comfortable space, your biggest investment, and where you spend most of your time. When a room is too cold, or an entryway is too drafty, or if an area of the house is just always too warm, it can weigh on your mind. It's the not knowing why that's distracting. Today, we're here to take away those fears and help you make a few wise decisions. Get that comfortable, energy-efficient, healthy home you deserve with the home performance experts at Wise Home Energy. Welcome to our show. I'm Robin DeWind, and I am here with Wise Home Energy founder Jeff Flaherty. And Jeff, people just really want to feel comfortable in their homes, but that just isn't always the case. What are some of the reasons why people pick up the phone and call Wise Home Energy?
So people call for a lot of common issues, Robin. We hear people call with ice dams hanging off their roof. We hear hot and cold second floors. We'll get calls with people with musty basements. And we'll get calls with high energy bills and then even uncomfortable rooms over garages.
Jeff, I really think it's the fear of the unknown. I mean, I always think it's the windows, right?
A lot of people do think it's the windows, or people will call up an insulation company or a heating and cooling company, and it may not be either one of those things. It may be the way those two systems come together. So what we want to look at is how people want their homes to perform in 2 or 5 or even 10 years down the road. So we begin with this process of investigating.
At Wise Home Energy, you're looking at the whole house and making sort of a diagnosis, I guess?
Yes, we really make the analogy that it's like going to the doctor and asking for a knee replacement. The doctor isn't going to do that. They're going to do an assessment of your current physical condition and maybe recommending a different path than you had planned. So we really want to do that assessment, then do the diagnostics and find out what the appropriate thing is. For example, a doctor may say physical therapy or modifying your diet may be the solution. And for Wise Home Energy, it all starts with that no-cost home performance assessment.
There's the infrared scanning, the air tightness test, basement and attic inspections. Let's take a look at the first wise decision a homeowner can make.
The assessment usually takes roughly about 2 hours, and it's pretty intensive. We're generally climbing in the areas that people don't spend a lot of time in there. So in New York, we pay, whether we like it or not, into an energy efficiency fund on our utility bill. So RG&E, NYSEG, National Grid, National Fuel, there's a charge on there that we pay into for energy efficiency. The state will pay us to do the assessment.
Things that we're looking at are really the whole exterior of the house, from roof to foundation.
They're really fearful that there may not be a solution or the solution is too expensive.
One thing that we're going to also check for is combustion efficiency. And this exhaust vent here is for the furnace that's in your house, and it's blowing out all those combustion gases. We want to make sure they're getting outside of the home, but we also can check to see how efficiently your furnace is running.
With the YouTube University, we spend a lot of time trying to figure out what the cause is, and most times when they call up, they already have their plan of what the solution is. And we would like to slow that process down. As consumers, instantaneously we think there's a 2-day fix.
With our infrared scan, we can kind of see voids in insulation or where air and heat might be leaking in and out of your home. So this is the blower door air leakage test. It tests how leaky your whole house is. It can also help us pinpoint major draft points in your home, and it really will help us identify the places that we want to seal up to reduce those drafts, make your house more comfortable. Basically, it's a big fan that we put into your front door and basically simulate a 20-mile-per-hour wind on all surfaces of your house. The tighter we can get your home, the more energy efficient, more comfortable, healthier, more sustainable house you can have.
We're generally climbing in the areas that people don't spend a lot of time in. Their attics or basements or crawl spaces. These are some of the big areas of the home that can really either inflict pain as far as comfort or reward people with having a comfortable home.
Another thing we would want to look at is how leaky your ductwork is. So it looks to be pretty good. Another portion of the home we'll always take a look at is the rim joist assembly. This is the top of the foundation wall. It's what your house sits on. And in most houses, you'll find fiberglass bad insulation just stuffed right up in here. And when it's stuffed in like this, it really loses a lot of the R value or insulation value.
When we go to a doctor and say, I'd love to get a knee replacement, the doctor's gonna not run out and do the knee replacement. The doctor is gonna do an assessment.
And on your furnace, you'll typically have some of the same piping.
We want people to be very comfortable with our assessment. We try to get as much information up front that we need to see a lot of areas of the home. Our process is to really figure out what the home needs, match it up with the client's goals for the home.
Jeff, it's really amazing how much science and technology go into identifying issues within a home.
Yes, when we come into a home, there is the clipboard audit that a lot of people do. We want to look at the data. We want to do the tests. Similar to going to a doctor's office, you're always going to get the weight, the height, the blood pressure, because that's where the home starts. We want to know this is where it starts, this is where we can take it. Now that home energy assessment is no cost because we all pay into it on our energy bills. So it's just something naturally you should take advantage of it because it's free to you and you've already paid for it.
Let's take a look at what an energy assessment did for one Wise homeowner.
When I bought my house, it was a big moment for me. I definitely was looking forward to having my own space and making it my own as a first-time home buyer and owner. I didn't fully understand the condition of the heating and cooling available at my house at the time until I was fully in it and starting to use it. When I wasn't getting much airflow, and any airflow coming out, it was just kind of spotty. It wasn't consistent. Since my house was an 1800s original model, that it probably just never really had insulation. I interviewed 6 different HVAC companies and I had a pretty confident view of what I wanted and needed for my house by the time I was working with Kirk at Wise Home Energy.
So here's how we insulated your exterior walls. We removed a piece of the siding so we could drill our hole, and then we would dense pack down and dense pack up. And then
Well, the biggest thing for me is Kirk, the sales representative that was with me from the very beginning, and he's still helpful to this day. And it wasn't a sales pitch, it was educational. Insulation needed to be done. He made it simple to understand. In comparison, a lot of the other competitors, it just felt I wasn't being heard. And I felt that at times, a lot of these other companies were trying to sell me things I didn't want or need.
with yours, after we did the walls, you see the difference that it has made.
Yeah.
And with your house, all houses, we like to start at the top.
One of the very first things he did was have the infrared camera to show me, and that was something unique to Wise. It allowed me to be more open to hearing and going through the process of making the decision of what needed to be done. So it was such a shock to know that I was losing so much heat, that I was essentially throwing my money out the window. Given the functionality of the house at the time, it made the most sense for me to also get the mini split, the heat pump system put in for heating and cooling. It was a big project, so we had to do a little bit at a time. The biggest things that they did was blowing in insulation to my walls in addition to sealing my basement and attic. They went above and beyond what they technically needed to do to give me the job that I was asking them to do, which was insulate. The heat pump needed a minimum of 200 amps, and since my home is older, it wasn't set up to handle modern usage.
As you see, you have 200 amp service now.
And we needed that to be able to handle the heat pump, right?
Yes. And then behind here, we installed the Emporia view.
Having that extra financial assistance from the grant programs, which Kirk helped me navigate with New York State, NYSERDA, was super helpful when it came to making a final decision about how much to do at the time. So being able to just rely on Wise to get me all of the money available and not have to do the paperwork was wonderful. We pay a lot of money to own our spaces, so getting to truly enjoy being in my house in the way that I want it, it means the world to me. Wise Home Energy isn't just here to install a gas and electric furnace, whatever it is that you want and need. They're here for a partnership and a relationship in the long run. and they truly care about it being the right fit for you and your family.
Jeff, we've talked a lot about people feeling comfortable in their homes, but they also need to feel comfortable about the team coming into their homes to do the assessment and the work.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time telling people about what to expect in the assessment process. It's intimidating having strange people come to your home. So we really break it down to make sure people are comfortable with the process and how long it's going to take. And then once we are able to collect all that data, figure out what's going on, then we match it up with the rebates that are available. It's a better process than chasing after rebates. If we do the diagnostics first, then we get a better solution.
Let's now hear from one Wise customer who knew it was time to call.
We had just gotten back from a trip down to Cooperstown. My sister's son was in a tournament down there. Walked into the house and it was just blazing hot and humid. The air conditioner had failed and it was just unbearable. With the furnace and the air conditioner being, 20 plus years old, I knew it was time that I'd have to be looking at a replacement. So it got me thinking as far as what my options were, what I could do. Do I do one? Do I do both?
It's much like a car. If you were in a car for 20, 25 years and you got a brand new car, boy, that's really neat. And same thing with your equipment in your home. You don't realize it. People are spending more time in their homes than ever before, and with that, they've understood that, boy, it really makes a difference to have an efficient product. Your 25-year-old product will still heat, it will still cool, it's just not doing it efficiently. People have noticed that.
When I saw the results from the assessment, it surprised me. So I'm all about data, give me the facts. And I could see the assessment and I understood where the opportunity was for improvement.
We get great feedback of what the assessment entails. We want to make sure there's not a problem in the home before we start recommending tightening up or altering the home. We want hardcore data, so we use things like analyzing the actual energy usage of the home of the last 12 months.
It caught me off guard. With Wise, they came in and did the diagnosis, they had the data, they were able to show, they had pictures, they had, it was kind of a real cool presentation so I could zero in and understand it.
I really enjoy meeting the customer and building a relationship with them. Just installing the product is not just installing the product because you are in someone else's home. I pride myself on doing the best possible job every single time.
I was very comfortable when I made the decision, okay, let's go forward with the heat pump. With the heat pump, with the rebates, it was almost a no-brainer. The savings off of the price that the rebates provided, it brought the price between the two options, a lot closer than I thought.
My humidifier, my Aprilaire, they took this off the old one, put this one on the new one, all part of the package.
They did everything. They absorbed it. They filled out the paperwork. They received the rebate. I didn't have to do a thing. And I never realized it until I came home that day and the system was broken. How much you rely upon an environment that I can be comfortable in.
Jeff, your customers are confident with the work Wise Home Energy does. They go through a lot of training in this process.
Yes, we don't want people going out there and just doing work for the sake of work. Just like we want our clients to be educated on why we're doing the work, we want our team members to be super educated on why we're doing the work, because the why is so important. And we always say, at Wise, we want to know the whys.
Now, your parents had apartment complexes, so you and your siblings learned a lot about construction at a young age.
We did. When I grew up, I was working in the trades of all different types at the apartment complexes, and it got me into how houses work, but I didn't understand the science. So then some years later, when I got into home performance, the science really clicked for me, where we could prove what was wrong with a home, and then we can prove what's right with a home. So it's really rewarding to start with a one-person company working out of my home in my driveway, and now we've grown it to be able to fix thousands of customers' homes, and to have a customer call up and say, I've never been comfortable in my home, and now that you've been here, I'm now comfortable. It's tremendously rewarding.
Jeff, this is certainly your passion, and it shows with the service that Wise Home Energy provides customers, even after the job is done. Let's meet one customer who appreciates the value of the Wise Guys.
I had a house that used propane, and the bills were always a surprise when they came in the mail. It was a tough pill to swallow. So I have a daughter that investigated all the grants and the benefits of the heat pump. And when she reached out and settled on Wise, she felt that they were a good fit for her situation. And then she recommended to me to give them a call and see if there was anything they could do in regards to getting rid of the propane and doing a heat pump. I have never had, central air. This seemed to be the way things were going right now, and it would be a benefit with all the grants that were available, from basement right through the top floor of the house. And I found that, surprisingly, that I needed some help because there was some air going outside and cold air in the winter coming in. So it was really a great experience. I felt that they were a good fit for me. The crew that just came in and did the work, and I was able to leave the house myself while they did the work and trust that everything would be fine.
The team really feels like a family. There's no complaining. There's no, gotta go to work tomorrow. It's, I'm doing this project tomorrow. It's gonna be an adventure. It's not like a job. We have a really great time, and Jeff provides that for us.
You got to keep it light out here because it's a tough job. So there's a lot of silly things that we say all day.
Jeff, he answers the phone and takes out the garbage. So he's just another employee. Does not feel like the employer. But Jeff has a wonderful attitude. He's really a joy to work with.
To be wise, having or showing experience, knowledge, and good judgment. To be a wise person, you must have this plus action.
I think that if they reach out to Wise Home Energy and talk with Kirk, talk with Jeff, I think that they'll put your mind at ease if there's any questions or concerns. Hi there.
Hello, I'm Jeff. How are you, Diane?
you?
Good. I'm here to do the final inspection.
Great.
Beautiful.
They did a great job.
Excellent.
Very happy with it.
Yeah.
I didn't know I needed one.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Wise Home Energy treated me well. They did everything they promised to do. There were no shortcuts. And I can't say, that they're anything but good people and reliable. It was wonderful. Kirk did a lot of work for me and getting me the best options I could get, especially with the grants. And it was just incredible.
So Jeff, do people call you a wise guy?
So as a kid, they probably called me the wise guy for the wrong reason, but now it's a nice play on words because we really do want to find out the whys in your home.
We've heard a lot of your clients talk about how the rebates and the grants have really helped support the work that needs to be done, but it's very confusing. There's a lot of talk in the marketplace about all these grants.
Yes, we always say don't go chase the rebates, find out what the home needs. We'll get calls from people that have been to a contractor and gotten these rebates, but it didn't really solve the problem because the rebate didn't match what was going on in the home. So it's best to do that diagnostics first, find out what the home needs.
So you want to find out what's wrong with the home and then look for rebates.
Absolutely, because what happens, the rebate might make you chase price. What we want to do is find out what the problem is, match the solution, and then match the rebate, because price isn't always going to get you the solution.
That's why you do your homework first, like our next wise customer.
I called a couple of contractors, and the first contractor sent out someone who did what they called an energy audit. It just was a complete flop, and he did not help me at all.
I was just so disheartened and discouraged by the past contractors and just didn't believe it was going to be worth our time.
Wise Home Energy was the third place that I called. I immediately felt much more like somebody was paying attention. Well, Kirk came, and it was a wonderful experience. He was very personable, very friendly. He took the time to talk with us about what he was finding, everything that, you know, we really had been missing out on that first assessment.
I came here for a home energy assessment. We found that there was a crawl space in the front of the home that was uninsulated, had a dirt floor, had heat runs running through it. So what we'd want to do here is we want to try to insulate these foundation walls from the top to the bottom to help that room warm itself with those heat runs that go through there. Now, is there a dirt floor in there?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll also want to lay a vapor barrier in there to stop that moisture from wicking its way up. We addressed the crawl space and put a vapor barrier down on the floor, and they noticed a huge difference in the home.
Well, I had no idea how much of improvement it was going to make.
We put a new air source heat pump water heater in the basement for them and replaced their old hot water heater. Anything that we propose as a company or would install as a company should show a payback. You always want to see a payback on anything you invest in when it comes to insulation or mechanicals in your home. This is the new air source heat pump water heater that was installed. Replaced the 26-year-old standard electric hot water heater.
It's saving us several $100s a month. And it's nice having that money back in our pocket.
They came in, they did the job, they did it right.
And one of the things I loved about them, they set a schedule and they stuck to it.
Yes.
To find someone who came in, was as professional as they were, did the work in a very timely manner. We reclaimed the room. Okay, you would just avoid it for several months. It was like a porch that you'd be going in and out of the house on. But now it's a room again, and it's as warm as every other room.
Huge lacks of insulation. Now it looks relatively normal all the way around the perimeter.
They need to talk with Kirk, talk with Wise Home Energy. They will work with people to make the changes that they need to make.
Yeah, we had no idea what was available to help us out and what kind of tax incentives. We had no idea. And then once we found out about all that and what kind of help we were eligible for, it made it very doable.
Yeah.
I can't exaggerate the difference it's made and how much warmer.
People get an idea of exactly where they stand with their home. Whether you need, whether your problem is, you need some insulation, or your hot water heater is 26 years old, and guess what? Education is everything, and ignorance is not going to help you in the long run.
I'm looking forward to working with them in the future. It's really nice to go into the next project knowing we got the right people and we can do this and we can actually have fun while we're doing it.
I love this place. I honestly could spend the rest of my life here. It's home.
It's also the biggest single investment we have. And it's provided for us over the years quite a few times.
It has.
You want to open the door for me? Appreciate it. Thank you.
So Jeff, it really doesn't matter the age of the home. You can't really assume that the work was done right.
Right, we come into homes and we'll treat a 120-year-old a little differently than maybe a 20-year-old home because of the construction details, but each home really can be improved. In fact, we had a home recently that was just a 2-year-old home, but the second floor was a 6-degree temperature differential, and we were able to diagnose the problem and then fix it for the client.
Are you saying that people are staying in their homes longer?
Yeah, we see with this housing market a little frothy, and people are staying and they're working from home, so they're really looking at these extreme temperatures of winter and in summer and saying, I want to fix these problems for good. And so they're taking advantage of these energy programs.
And Jeff, at Wise Home Energy, you don't really offer discounted products.
Right, we view when you purchase something that there's 3 classes of quality. There's price, quality, and premium. So Wise Home Energy doesn't install price category. We take the rebates, and for the same price, we allow you to move into the quality and premium category. So you get higher quality with lower price.
And you also offer a third-party quality assurance. What is that?
So we stand behind our work, but whenever we're accessing these rebates, these programs have a third-party quality assurance. So that means you can call up if you're unhappy with the way something was installed, and you can request this quality assurance visit, and they'll come out and make sure that it was installed to program standards and manufacturing specifications. So that's a nice peace of mind. I would like that if I was purchasing a car or a home.
And that's why your customers say it's easy to make the wise choice.
I think Wise Home Energy as a company has incredible integrity, and they will not put people on the spot to push them into doing things that they really aren't ready to do or aren't ready to commit to, but they will give a homeowner all the information that they can possibly need to make an informed choice.
Wise Home Energy went above and beyond, and Kirk specifically helped me get money the most money I could get at the time. Part of the experience with Wise was peace of mind, and I knew that they were going to do everything they possibly could that was in my best interest.
I know that when I call Wise Home Energy, somebody's going to let me know when they're coming, and so I can plan my day around them. Wise Home Energy kept me in the loop about what was happening and why, and it was a good experience.
I knew with Jeff, you know, man of integrity, honesty, friendly, always, you know, quick to reply and being supportive. I just had that sense of comfort. Here's someone who's just being straight. You know, there's no pressure. It wasn't like, you know, pushing, and oh, here's a deal, you got to move now.
I refer my mom, my friends, coworkers, I refer everybody who mentions that they're interested in something that I know Wise can handle. It makes sense to do some of these improvements so you don't have damage to your home, and they're looking out for you when they do that.
I hate to think of the money we've lost over the years, though, because that crawl space wasn't insulated like it is now. We've lived there almost 25 years now.
26 this year.
So you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yep.
A year. Thanks so much, Kirk. It's made such a huge difference.
My pleasure.
Anybody says, I gotta get this done, I say, here you go. These are the people.
Best way to do business is be good to people, do a good job, do good quality work, and everything else will take care of itself.
Jeff, you really wanted today to be about educating the consumer. Energy efficiency, high energy bills, rebates, it's all very confusing. You really want to be a resource for people.
We do. We want the education process. Our website really focuses on educating people. We want to slow down the process. We'd like to start with a 15-minute phone call to see what your goals are. Then we go through our normal process, diagnose the home, and figure out where you want it to be. Once we have those goals, then we can develop a plan to make the home work for you.
Thanks, Jeff. Great information. Appreciate the time today. Get your whys answered with Wise Home Energy today. I'm Robin DeWind. Thanks for watching.